Alright guys, welcome to my unboxing of Nova Aetas Renaissances by Ludus Magnus Studio. This is just the Wave 1, and it is massive. This was the entire box, was just a box in a box. There's going to be a ton of game in here. I'm excited to take a look into it, talk about it a little bit, so let's get to it. Do not like, I hate these. Do not give me these. I'd rather you just throw it in the box loose. Stupid things. Oh, that's a freaking sweet picture there. I get this from varying degrees of limpness, or shall I say flaccidity in there, where that's the only one that's straight. This one's close, but not quite. Then comes this one, a little droopy, Then you get this and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on? And then this guy just won like a Darwin Award or something. Like, what the heck? Okay, so I didn't see an index right away. So we have a table of contents. Now, wait, what the heck is this? This is not a table of contents. This is like a single page index. What in God's name is this? Okay, so as always, huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members for helping make this channel possible. If you appreciate what I do here, feel free to join over there and get some neat insights into some like first impressions of games like this. I'll be sure to share that in there as well. So the first game I have of it, I'll write down a quick few notes at the end and let you guys know my initial impressions. It's a nice little thing I can do for them that I enjoy to provide for their generous support. And my goodness, okay, look, these games are awesome, and I love getting Kickstarters. Freaking, give me a load. Love getting Kickstarters like this because this is so enjoyable. I feel part of the experience of Kickstarter is getting the new game, looking at all the stuff, and oh my gosh, it's all amazing, and there's so much of it and all that. But at the same time, this is kind of intimidating because this is just Wave 1. Okay, there's a lot here. I do like the box, though. I really like the black. Got a little bit of a dent here. And that is just, I mean, it's like, seriously, I don't know if there's any way really around it when it comes to that. And this was packed up pretty good, actually, too. Also, a little bit of a glue ripple here, so you can kind of see a little bit there. Again, nothing major, but that is on the front. On the sides, oh, well, I guess the contrast, right? So we got the black on the almost white, not quite white, but almost white. Very, very cool. I love the kind of the levels of gray. Even the drop shadow here is cool. And then, of course, the colorful art right here. I think it's really cool to see what looks to be maybe an overarching person with some people underneath it. Looks awesome. Even a little bit of the world and setting there and stuff like that. Very, very cool. This is the transparency right here, by the way. Super awesome. On the sides, and again, like there's no logo. It's just the name. Cool art. I love it. Oh, on the sides is where you start getting some of the like a game by and stuff like that, so you can see that. And then there's LMS's Studio linked there. On the sides are more. I'm not going to move this too much because there's so much. I'll do one side view for you guys. There you are. I gotta reach over so you can see that. Is that? No, that's part of the art, but you can see the, and 90 minutes playtime. Yeah, sure, whatever. 14 plus just means that they're small parts they can sell in Europe, and then 1 to 6 players. Then the matte finish on this, by the way, nice. Feels good. On the back here, looks more like a traditional box, right? You got some art, you got a rendering of the game itself. You see the 3D train, looking forward to that. The mini's looking forward to that. The time track thing based off your actions, looking forward to that as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. Component list, a little bit about the game, and then a whole lot of mumbo jumbo stuff, including the fact that it's in the Nova Aetas Chronicles thing, which is cool. But they're all different, so that's neat too. All right, let's go ahead and open up the box. Oh, this is what, 25 pounds, I think it was. So quite a bit of game. All right, let's try and open this. Now, when their walls are this wide, whoop, and as you can see, there's a tiny bit of lift. Hopefully by the time the punch boards come out, that's gone. But there is some gap here as well, so I'm hoping this lid comes off easily. Sometimes that can be very difficult with these games. In fact, I think it was the Black Rose Wars. It's pretty rough, but it's all right. The Black... Oh, I'm literally lifting 25 pounds right now with just the lid. Yeah, that's a bit rough. So one thing you can do is you can technically punch a little hole in the box to let air flow through. a lot of that can help. But oh dear Lord, yeah, opening this game up is going to be a chore. I would have preferred 2 boxes actually, just to avoid that. It gets so difficult to open these big boxes. Again, when they're so wide, that tends to be a problem. All right. That being said, it's sturdy enough for it. So here you can see, actually quite sturdy. It's got folded in right here. So it actually folds into there and connects. It's not just like glued or anything like that. So that's kind of nice. You can see the marks here and here, kind of where they go in and stuff too. Looks like a little bit of discoloration, maybe a tiny bit of water or something like that can kind of happen. But otherwise, it looks fine. Glue job's good. Box is sturdy. I'm okay with it. And again, okay, so this is kind of interesting. Right now it has these. I try to save these because I'm always worried that by the time I put it back in the box, it's not all going to fit. And it'll be loose. So it'd be kind of interesting to see that. Feel free to reuse this video to see how to fit it back in. I do that with my own games. I'm like, wait, how'd this fit in there? I guess we're just going to go top to bottom here. So let's see. Looks like we got a binder here. That's going to be kind of cool. This is really a box of other boxes for the most part, I feel. Is there an easy way to open this? Yes, right here. I do appreciate that. That helps the unboxing experience a lot. Okay. This seemed to have made it in pretty good. I don't see any dents or anything like that. It's just kind of a cardboard kind of fake out, but it works. It looks nice. It's thick enough. Nice board here. There was a spacer here to kind of keep it from, you know, bending in here and flattening here. So you put that in there. I dig that. I'll keep it for now. Okay, the art inside looks great. The glue job here looks awesome. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, that looks cool. I love the rat coming out of the skull. Freaking sweet. This looks pretty okay. It's a little loose here, but not too bad. Oh. Oh, it just like auto closes. That's kind of fun. That's loud. I'll dig that. All right. In the back, just a little bit of branding there. Oh, it looks cool. I dig that. I dig that. All right. This is the League of Columbria. It's been so long for this game, guys. I swear. I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys as well. I do appreciate, again, the easy open is nice. Okay, it looks like I need to punch this in. So let's do that as well. But first, let's zoom in a little bit. Side. Okay. Now, the problem is this won't, like, stay open unless I hold it there. So I'm going to have one there. And then try and grab that. You guys are going to see this live, but this is what you're going to have to do too, I guess. Okay. Okay. Don't close on me. Oh, this one did. There we go. Okay. If you open both sides, it stays open. Go figure. Ooh, that could get your finger. That could be scary. All right. Little bit of dent there. This is obviously kind of shiny, but overall good. We're going to zoom in a little bit more now that we got that in there. You can see the size. There you go. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at that shot. I'm a professional. Okay. So, all of its color. That's nice. That looks great. I love the very clear headers. That's nice as well. I wonder how useful it would have been to, in the bottom of the corner, also show like the range. It looks like there might not be that much range, but we'll see. This is like how you go through the campaign with a lot of the stuff here, right? Even like setup and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Looks like there's art and diagrams throughout, and the art style is really cool. I like it. Very nice looking. So here's point 2, and then there's point 2.1. So it looks like it's broken up enough. It would have been nice to have a little bit of a easier way to find things, but the art and all that in here looks great. I think they did a really good job with all that. Is there just more art on the... No, there's some big art there. Yeah, full page art there. That's kind of interesting. I'm not trying to spoil anything. Just trying to get a look here. Another art there. Oh, full art there. Oh, what's going on with that, huh? That's fun. Very cool, very cool. I like it. Very nice. Got some diagrams here, using some bold, some icons, stuff like that. There we go. That being said, if I ever want to take this out for any reason, there's not really like anywhere nice to put it per se, right? You definitely want to make sure that's stored nice. There we go. There. All right. Perfect. All right, cool. I like it. Very nice. Very premium. I'm going to show you how I'm taking them out of the box each time. So now we're in this corner here. We have, that's a kind of a big one. All right, we're going to do this. So this is exactly what I was talking about. I might keep the other one. I'm not sure. I want to take both books out. But you see how this is now like a smaller one here? I'm going to keep this because this is obviously, I'll keep this as well probably. Just so if I take it out, I can put it in there. Maybe, you know what? I bet you can just, actually, I'm not going to do it here right now, but you could just put it behind it, right? You could just have them all stacked there. There's room there for that. I'm just going to keep it like that. There you go. But that'll eventually be, come on. There we go. Another scenario and stuff here. Okay. Got the Read Me First tutorial. I like seeing that. That's nice. That's nice. Let's see, how long is it? Read Me tutorial's 19 pages. It got some big text. I appreciate that as well. Not super small text. Looks like it guides you through everything fairly well. I'm okay without an index on this. It's not like the rule book or anything. It's just here's how to play. Sometimes this is really nice to go through before you read the rule book. And then other times I feel like I just want to read the rule book and skip this entirely. But I think this helps give context so that when you do read the rule book, it's kind of a bummer because sometimes you're rereading stuff you feel like you already know, but it makes it to where you don't have any false assumptions on how things connect together. Sometimes like even a turn order can be kind of weird. You don't necessarily know, but then once you play something like this, it does. I like this. For people who use it, which I have before, that can be very useful. Okay. Stick that right there. Okay, next up we have stretch goals. A book of stretch goals. Oh, wow. Okay, what is all this? I have a table of contents here. Heroes, companions, new equipment, equipment sets, new enemies, familiars, games for 5 to 6 players, zodiac cards, hunt missions. Cool. So they kind of put it all in here by the looks of it. Here's how to use fate die, new rule, geo tokens, all the new stuff they added there. A lot of gameplay stuff for stretch goals, huh? Companions, new equipment. So some of it is just like, hey, how to add it, right? That's kind of helpful to see. Hey, you got this stuff. How do you include it? That's helpful. People know how I feel about this type of enemy, so I'm not gonna say it. It's just it's very, very common. Plop a female torso on a spider and call it good, I think. The renders look great, kind of showing what goes with each one, but for the most part, this is just kind of showing off the stuff. Familiars, everybody loves the pets. That's important, especially the pig, right? Best one ever. You guys know that. We all know that. Well known. Games for 5 to 6 players. Side missions, explorations. Okay, that's cool. If this is all stretch goals, I'm fine with it being separate. And just reading about how it changes or accentuates something and what components are combined with what. Like you need the event card for him to be able to have him show up and stuff like that. So that's cool. And then plot books, side missions, and explorations. So this is kind of like the papers there. That's kind of a bummer that it didn't just come with new papers for it. But that's okay, I guess. Love the artwork like that, the like settings when it comes to that. I think that adds a lot. Okay, cool. I like it. Neato. Then we have the rule book itself. This seems very nice. I like the size of it. Seems like it has a very crisp, well-glued binding, so I'm happy with that. Again, love the color and everything. Very sturdy. These outer pages, and especially this binding here, very strong. So it keeps it's not flopping around too much at all, especially how big it is. Oh, that's crisp. Okay, so it's because like this is like super crisp like that. You could actually fold this out. Let me know again. Does anybody fill this out in the book? Are you that like? I feel like that's inappropriate. I want separate pages of this for sure. PDFs, download something. I am seeing. It looks like they're almost like stuck together, the pages. So it's like flaying out more here, you see, on the edge than it is everywhere else. Like this is like been separated, but the rest is like still clamped together almost. Kind of interesting. Okay, so I didn't see an index right away. So we have a table of contents. Now wait, what the heck is this? This is not a table of contents. This is like a single page index. What in God's name is this? There's no way they go in order. Do they really? What the heck? What kind of rule book is this? Yeah, so I was looking at the page numbers to see if the page numbers increase, and they do. They continually increase. Let me zoom out a little bit just so you can see the full thing. There you go. Okay. Get that camera angle. So a table of contents shows the headers, right? Game objective, how to use this rule book, golden rules, components is how this would list it, right? Notice this is not in alphabetical order. Glossary, achievement cards, action points, actions. This is a huge glorified gloss. Oh, this is okay. This is a different way of doing it. I'm interested. So an index, instead of doing it based off of the headers, does it based off of concept, which doesn't have to be a header at all, right? So the header might be player turn, but in it you talk about status effects. So you look up under S and find status effects, status tokens, that'll work, right? And then you would look it up. That's on page 47. Now that might also be listed on other pages. And so an index will show every page status effects are mentioned. So you know you've read everything, which is not what this is doing, obviously. Now maybe it just is concise enough, but typically any kind of, especially something as complex as this game, will mention things on multiple pages. So I'm not seeing that. However, one of the nice things about an index is it's alphabetized, so you can look it up easier. And this does have that. Interesting. Rulebook is divided into two main sections. The glossary details all the rules in Aetas Renaissance in alphabetical order. Each entry provides all the rules on a topic and may contain one or more paragraphs. Related topics are used for finding links between different entries. In some cases, a paragraph contained in an entry is mentioned. In this case, the main entry is inserted below in parentheses, e.g. Attack of Heroes hero. The campaign section, on the other hand, contains all the rules for running the campaign, which is right here. Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's a very interesting way of doing it. I will have to let you guys know what I feel about that. That's interesting. One thing I will say right now is I feel like this is too much space dedicated to components. This is a lot. Like some of it even includes like build instructions, I guess. So I guess there's that. But even still, there's a lot of white space, a lot of empty space here that could have really crammed this, I think, a bit more and have been okay and not needed like 6 pages of components. But, you know, it's kind of, it's nice to list them out, I suppose. As long as they're listed, that's good. I'm looking for a name, an amount, and an object, so it's helpful to see that. Interesting that most of the rulebook is just a glossary. Looks like they have, I'll see, now this is something kind of interesting. So when you, okay, so you do, I was about to say, do they have like examples like that? Like do they have a player turn? Is there a player turn where I can just see, here's how a player turn typically works, or a round, right? I don't know, let's see if there's any rounds. There's no rounds. Is there a turn? There's no turns. Is there a player turn? No. So in other words, like, is there an encapsulation in that? Or are they assuming that this does it? In which case you really need to read both. Okay, all right. We'll move on, but interesting nonetheless. That's different. That's different. Okay, this is like crammed. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this goes like into this, right? So, there you go. You see that? It goes into there. So some of this is like in there. So it's kind of. How do I? I'm gonna take this out first, as you can see, very cramped on there. But now I can at least get this box out. Ugh, there we are. Oh, there's a whole bunch of loose stuff. Okay. All right. Magister. These are minis. We'll look at this at the end. I'm back here. Let's see, we got a loose handbook here. So This is now another book. This handbook has an icon list. Enemy artificial intelligence. So here's the AI for the enemies. Okay. Oh, this is just a lookup book, just to look things up in. And interesting, it's a book. It's smaller. So if you don't feel you need the rule book, you just need to look up quick things. This takes up less table space. I'm more or less okay with it. I think that's fine. It being a book versus cards makes it a little bit harder to pass around because when you pass it, or like when it's a card, you can just hand somebody the card, or you can have multiple there. Here, everything is on the same book, so you can't pass out the cards and have somebody have status effects, somebody have this. Right? Sometimes I can do that, and you'll have to be like, oh, it's on page 9, right? And then you got to go full 2 and stuff like that. Pros and cons, kind of interesting. They're making some different choices though. And I do appreciate the kind of look at there. Looks like we got a silica packet, always good to have. I just keep them in there; they're not causing any harm. Worst case, it's useful. So this is kind of interesting. So here, you can see this is wrapped, but then these are not, and then these are not. I'm not sure why. I'm gonna take them out though. Okay. Oh, it wasn't fit in there. It's just set on top, but it's so it looked like it was like this kept going down, but it does not. All right. Let's look at some of the map tiles. Thickness seems good. There's a little bit of a bend. You can see that already. Like if I pinch here, you can see the top one very much bent more. We'll see if the other ones do. Another way to do that is to flip it and see if it bows out, in which case it does. Now, not too bad actually. It's not the worst ever. I think your minis will stand there fine, but they can curl enough to even cause a problem with fitting underneath each other. In other words, if I'm trying to do this, if it curls enough, one will slide over the other, right? And sometimes it'll mean minis don't sit flush on it. This looks like it's mostly fine from what I can see. Nice, colorful. I dig all that. You got the little stuff here. All of it is in kind of like a almost a cartoon art style kind of thing. That I think works with the digital way this is obviously made. So this is very much a digital image, but I think it looks pretty good. Also, you do have the 1A, the 2A here, right? And I don't know if it all has to be oriented or not. It looks like it works either way. But yeah, I think the art style really works on this quite well. And they blend quite well. You'll notice that it's mostly a clearing in the middle, and then the outside is more generic so that it fits with the generic of the other one that also kind of has a little space in the middle. But I think they blend it well enough. That's good. On the back looks like we have like city streets and stuff. There we go. Perfect. Stuff like that, which obviously only necessarily fit maybe some ways different if they have a building on the sides, which looks like a lot of them do. So you'll have to kind of keep that in mind. But those fit nicely together. Looks like more and more. There's a little thing there. I like the splashes of color that you can get in there sometimes. Or like the trail on this one is different, or the bones on this one are different. Looks like we got some snow. I dig that. That looks cool. And then on the flip side is more grass. So a lot of outside, looks like. This is kind of interesting because like that doesn't, like they have this to kind of fit it, right? But for the most part, that doesn't fit as well to me, right? As maybe that. Because now, but even then it's like the rocks changed facing, right? So these rocks are at a certain angle, right? So this one I think fits a little bit less together in any way you want, and it's probably more finite. Also, I'm seeing even the color's different, right? So this gets a little grayish here, and the grayish here, and this is not really grayish. So it looks like it's probably supposed to be kind of like that. Kind of hard to tell. And then we have this, which I forget exactly how this works at all, but this is here. And on the inside is the inside of a building. I love the drop shadows and the shadows here and stuff like that. It's a really good angled look at it, and the lighting seems fairly legitimate. It's a little dim, in my opinion. It looks like there's almost no lights in here, but I don't see a single light source in here, drawn in here, and that's kind of interesting as well. But, you know, all right, there you go. There's some tiles there. All right. Next we have some loose boards here. It looks like, oh, this is probably the actual like terrain to build, huh? And then some dials and stuff like that. So let's see How easy? Oh, these come out really easy. This is like popping out. Looks good. Not too spongy or anything like that. I'll hold it up here. The layer lines look pretty good. Definitely curved on the top more than some that I have, but overall that's good. Does it peel? I think you'll definitely see wear and tear on this as you play the game. It looks like it does peel back a little bit, especially on these corners. Oh yeah. Yeah, do you see that? So not the best glue job on the tokens when it comes to that. Mainly the main thing with that is as you play the game and love it and enjoy it, which is a good thing to have, if you're playing the game enough, you will start to see that wear and tear on those tokens, right? That's kind of the deal there. You poke out some of these. There we go. Looks like this one has a side here. This looks like this will build pretty well though, so that's good. I'm happy to see that. I'm going to make a mess of these. I'm not going to build all of them. I'll probably just build this and maybe a tree. I think after that you've seen the most ways things would build. But this will give you a little insight into how easily that's done too. Okay, and then simply looks like do that. Yeah, so at least here it looks like there might be a little bit of bend there that, I mean, it's not a super like locked on thing of in any way. So there it's not, do you see the separation here that I'm kind of talking about? So right here in between these two, you can see it kind of separate. So it should be more like that, but it is separated a little bit. Now, maybe with the other ones, it's better. I don't know. So let's see real quick. May as well while we're here. Let's see how that works. This, obviously, again, when it gets really skinny, this kind of folds in. They also, looks like they have a really cool one that's like right here. And that looks awesome. Look at that. That's freaking sweet. That's cool. I dig that. Okay. Put these out real quick so we can complete this. See how it looks like in the end. I do suggest using something to poke out versus like trying to use your fingernail or something like that, and it can often just bend it and that can kind of mess it up. And you want these to stay as tight as possible, so you don't want to like really finagle the stuff either. Okay, clean up our mess. I tell my kids all the time. So this will go in like that. There's some rip. Yeah, what the heck? When did that happen? Look at this, guys. So right here. Did it happen when I poked that out? Do you see the rip here? It like ripped part of the stuff off. That's kind of dumb. Looks like it only did it to that one. Yep. Okay. Well, they didn't punch that through all the way. All right. All right. It's whatever, I guess. Nothing to do about it now. Now there should be a lid to this as well. These are different colors, so there's a more red one and a more gray one. Right now I have the gray one out more. So I'll have a top. I mean, either way, that's cool. There is still that issue with the bending out here, right? It's just not cardboard for terrain is kind of difficult. You need really good cardboard for it. It's just kind of how that works. It's something like Battle Systems has been talking about with their stuff, where it's like, hey, yeah, this is a thing, right? Like we gotta. Guess it goes like that? Yeah, sure, why not? Why not? That's the roof now. I don't know if that's actually supposed to be the roof, but whatever. Where they need their cardboard thicker and stuff like that, because otherwise it just messes up, right? It'll bend and flex over time and whatnot, and that's kind of what we're getting at here, I think. This is the hard part. I always struggle with this. Which is part of why I'm showing it on camera. You can skip it if you want, but this is what you'll be doing. And I don't think there's a storage for it once it's built, so you'll have to do this several times. But there we go. It certainly looks cool, though, huh? 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 Oh, did I put a red one? Oh, gosh dang it. See? That's what I'm talking about. That's fine. That's fine. That's the back or something. I guess it's the side, whatever. But, yeah, you can stick minis on there. That's cool. I like it. All right. Put that over there. Okay. All right. I'm not sure I'm even going to worry about the dials or anything. You guys have seen that. Looks like there's some kind of ramp stuff there. Again, I'm not going to build all of the terrain. This is cool, though. I dig that as well. All right, so that's the loose stuff anyway. We got another loose thing here, and then we got a whole bundle of tokens here. And then, yeah, see, what's going on with that? Why is that skinny and different? I don't know. These are fun. I think this is for the time portion. I think is what that goes to. Punches out nicely, though. I dig that. Let's see, this is very long and skinny, but it seems to lie flat enough. I mean, I think you're just slotting cards here or something like that. But as you can see, it does lift up when I push down, mostly on this side, by the looks of it. So there's a little bit of gap there, right? It should be like that, but it's not. It does lift up a little bit. That is a pretty long, skinny piece, though. For the most part, it's okay. Not the best cardboard I've seen, but I've seen a lot of cardboard, too. The heck is my knife? Should I miss that? Found the knife. It was on the ground. That's not dangerous. That's why I looked. All right. There's a dull blade I have on this one. But what are you going to do? All right. Looks like more buildings and stuff. I love the artwork on this. It just looks really nice. The kind of the window background, I'm sure will work with stuff. They did a good job with the coloring. I like to see the outside painted as well, right? It just makes extra sure that regardless of, you know, stuff, it still gets painted. So you'll see that a lot. I think that's good to do. Again, a lot of dials looks like. Oh, see on the other side, looks completely different. I love that. That's so awesome. Very cool. So you get several of those. You get the tree. We'll do, oh, you know what? I said we do a tree. We'll do a tree real quick. These are just falling out. Which is good to do. Now again, the trees can sometimes have some issue fitting through with this very skinny part here, right? That could be kind of the issue there, because these are literally just falling out. So over time they can get bent, or sometimes it's too tight or not tight enough. Looks like that's pretty good. When you push it down, you wanted that. Oh, look at this. Yeah, the glue job on this cardboard has something to be. Leave something to be desired. Look. Do you guys see that? Look at that. It's like peeled off. It's like it's not even glued. All right, so it stands okay. It's not the most level. It's not the worst either, but it does wiggle a little bit. Additionally, it looks like there is, I don't know, like this is a little bit higher, right? I think it's on purpose, but it makes it look it draws attention in my mind to this. I would like this to be kind of flush instead of this being higher. I feel like it just makes it less noticeable instead of more noticeable. But, you know, maybe just me. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. I'm also not sure. Is that a tree branch? What is that? I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. It looks like it's black. Like it's on all of them. I don't know what that. Like, why does it go to pure black? That doesn't seem right either. I'm wondering if that's not quite the right shape for it. Like, that looks like a mistake. Here, you can see it on here too. So if I hold this right here, going off into the black, there's nothing painted. And in fact, like the color stops. So this comes down, right? There's the image. And yet it stops there and goes into the black. I feel like that's a mistake. I don't think that should be there. I might end up trimming that. Like, if it's supposed to be a branch, I don't think it should be black. And I don't think it's a branch. You know what makes sense? It literally cuts off the art here, because remember that hangs down and instead it's going up. I feel like that's a mistake. If it's not, it should have been, because that's kind of silly. Okay, now to take it apart, again, you don't want to push on the right one, and you don't want to do it from the base. Otherwise, again, you can bend it pretty easily. Yeah, that's weird. That's strange. Okay. But let's say you get several of those. Put those kind of back in. Hey, they fit like a puzzle. That's kind of nice. More buildings. That's fun. Looks like almost the inside of a building. Yeah, inside and outside. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I dig that. I dig that. I dig it. All right, more tokens, more dials, more buildings. Here's the timer. Here it is. This is the thing that, depending on what you do, when they activate, and how far you move. I like that. That's cool. Looks like it ended up really well. There's a logo on there. Very cool. It's sort of been kind of cool. Maybe I don't know how much you're spinning it per se. It would have been cool to do some kind of neoprene mat thing though with that. If you could still get the spinner to work, but it probably wouldn't. So that's probably a moot point. Yeah, seems to be lying flat. It's an important piece of the game. Looks like it fits quite well. Okay, what else do we got here? This is like the first one I've not had a dial, and so we do have ladders. That's kind of fun. I don't understand the gray on the outside of the ladder, though. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Like, why gray? See? So you have like this gray outline. Not only that, but it's not even centered. So there's far less space on that side than this side. In fact, it almost looks like it just about cuts it off here. Interesting. I'm not sure why they chose gray. Couldn't tell you on that one. We have a sheep. That's fun. A little lever. Levers are always fun. And then a little more different styles, different shapes and sizes of map tiles there. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for these, like, tokens and whatnot. It looks like we have, again, this is interesting. I don't know why this is separate or different. But we have this one, and instead of being a cardboard, it's now like a shiny thing. It would have been nice to make this some kind of matte, just so I feel like it didn't like contrast so much. Kind of just grab one with this, right? But the shininess really does change it. And one thing I'm noticing, now the plants are different, but this is definitely substantially brighter than those two. The water looks cool. I do like that. That looks awesome. It's kind of interesting that they did shiny on that though. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see, we got some kind of campaign map here. That's fun. It's gonna fold out like so. Does it? Oh, okay, no, that's the frame right there. So it's just this long, narrow. This is part of Florida here, right? So like Miami's somewhere down here, I guess, or whatever. I have no idea where this is. I think it's Italy, right? Yeah, no, this is cool. This is a neat little zoom in there. I like that. The art looks good and all that. It is a little weird to scale, where you have like mountains here, and so mountains look cool, but then you have like sticks here, and like obviously sticks are like way less. So it's kind of interesting to see very zoomed in stuff and very out zoomed stuff at the same time there. But that's really the only thing that stands out to me. Otherwise, I love this art style here. Like that looks cool. I don't know how prevalent this style, this like drawn style is though, when it comes to the rest of the art. I'm not sure. Oh, look at this. We have the rest board on this side. Looks like fun. And as you can see, more of this style. That was on the inside of the book too. Looks like the drawn diagram kind of stuff. The line art is definitely prevalent. So that's cool. All right. Neat. Okay. Obviously keep this. This tells you how things are stored by the looks of it. So I appreciate that. Looks like we have places for dials and stuff as well. And then we got minis here. We'll take a look at the tray, at the minis and all that in a moment. Looks like we have minis here. The opening just pops the lid off more than lets you get the actual tray out. The lid just kind of pops off. And then we have the stuff in here. So let's put the minis aside. I know. Take a quick look at this. This does have a lid on it as well. Looks like everything is within the lid. Again, this definitely makes the lid come out. They are supposedly locked, so you can see some of that there. I'll show that on the other ones. Look how like bent that is. Do you guys see the bend here? Let me zoom out a little bit. I'm sure you can right now because you can see the reflection and how different that looks. So there's like a bubble here. Like right around here. That's kind of don't know if I've ever had one like this. Yeah, it like dips in here. It's like it like got put on when it was too warm. It almost seems like this was fresh out of the thing, super hot, and they put it on there, and so it like sunk in places and stuff. Like do you see how the light's reflecting on this? It dips in here, and then it kind of comes over here, and this is a pool, and then it comes in here, and then there's another dip here, right? And then another here, another here. You can see actually some of the scratchings and stuff, maybe a little bit there. Kind of hard to see on camera. That's kind of interesting. This tray is nice, very firm, very nice there. I dig that. Let's look at dice. Dice are fun. These are cool dice. All right. These are cool. I like these. Got 2 of them here. Not your average die because they're 8-sided die. Or 10-sided? How many die? 8. They are 8-sided die, right? 4 and 4. So these look cool. They definitely stand out. I like the design on them, right? Those look cool. This looks super cool. Looks like they'll roll pretty well. I mean, again, these 8-sided die aren't really meant for the randomness. Again, sharp edge is in this and less in it. Like, it'll bounce more than roll, right? Because of the flat edges. And that's cool. I actually like that. I dig that. Again, the design on them looks great. And I feel that it came out really well, too. The painting of the inside of it like that looks great. Like, it looks perfect everywhere. These are quite nice. The flat parts aren't super scuffed, though. That'll be easier to see on the dark ones. So let's see. Yeah, there's some scuffing, but it's not too bad. Again, I really like that. It looks like a little bit more could have been put in there. I do see a little kind of black in the lettering of this black one here. Maybe that's the difference, is the light one, if it comes in. No, see, this just looks like, I don't see any kind of that creamy white, kind of off-white coming through. Maybe a little bit right there. Not a whole lot. Then I look on these, and I do see spots where that black is still quite visible. So I don't think these were painted quite as well as these, but I think they still look great. Numbers are clear there. The symbols look clear enough, I would say. You know, sun versus moon. They're a little small, perhaps. So just know they're going in, but that's fun. I like that. Okay, so for now, I'm just gonna go back in there. We got some like cubes and stuff. You guys have seen so many cubes. I'm not gonna show you more cubes. You guys are fine. I'll put this back in there. I'll fix that off camera. I guess I need to see that. Okay, let's get some whole dual layer cards and stuff in here. Oh, there's so much stuff. Zoom out a little bit. Ah, perfect. I want more companies to do this. I'm so excited to show this off. Monolith has been doing this since Claustrophobia 1643. I don't know of anybody who did it before that. If you know somebody, let me know. But I love the clamshell dual layer board design. I think a lot of companies don't like it because it covers art, right? So you see all this black here, and that looks not so good, right? It looks like this would be bad design if it was just this, right? But that's what this is for. So I'm gonna poke all these out. I'm excited. I think this is a great way to add something premium like a dual layer board and still make it to where it doesn't cost so much, because you make a certain amount of them instead of every single character that, right? So you're not bound to like, I'd add another character, that's another dual layer board. No, you have a set amount of dual layer boards and you just slot in the character. Like so. Now it's dual layer. Love that. I think that's great. Now often they'll have little notches to kind of make sure it's lined up in there. And this does have this interesting part to be able to, I guess, separate it there. So you could like lift up there to get it. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Actually looks like it's on each side even. But that looks much better. Now it's still quite dark, I feel. I'm not exactly sold on how dark these are. And just really the black use in general. This did not fully punch out. There we go. Not that there's anything there to show off. It's all black there. Here, we'll do the one that actually has that. Oh, look. Different levels? What's going on there? Okay, well, we'll at least do that so we see everything. There you go. So I like that. I like that a lot. I do think it's maybe, I don't know, it's kind of interesting just how much black there is, right? I'm not sold on the black, but again, I love this clamshell design because now they can continually print as many of these as they want and never have to print more than these. They had to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dual layer boards, and that does every single character. It's such an easy thing, I think, to... I imagine they cost a little bit more than dual layer, but not when it comes to quantity. So if you want to be able to have a whole bunch of different people with different versions and stuff like that and not have to do the dual layer over and over again, you can do that through these. I can't sing enough of those praises. I love the clamshell design. I think it's smart. I think it is a good way to save some money and offer something premium to backers. Okay, that being said, I do feel like this isn't maybe lined up perfectly, but I can't push it up anymore here. But there is definitely more space on the top, but maybe that's a design choice. Again, I've already mentioned the black. The contrast is fairly nice. I think it's okay. I think these could be more easily read. I think that's a little hard to see. Essentially, you have kind of a darkish image, like a darkish red. You have black text on it, and then you have this kind of small white, like, shadow, and that's like it. So I don't think these are as easily read as they could be. Just personal opinion there. Otherwise, all these symbols look kind of okay. It's kind of hard to see the colors here. First of all, it's small. I'm colorblind slightly, and again, it's on a dark image anyway that has different colors. Like this green, I think that's... Yeah, that's green. So I think both of these are green. I don't think there's a yellow. Both of these green are over her skin, whereas this pink is like over her cape. Blue's over the cape. These one red's over the cape. The other red is over this other red here, and just has like kind of outlined it. It's just I'm not sold on that. I do like all the gilding that's everywhere in this game. I think that's quite fitting. And again, I do love this, but yeah, the graphic design I think leaves a little bit to be desired there, but I do like that. So it looks like you get Sophia, and then you get green. These are probably level ups, I imagine, but I'm not certain because notice this is changing too. Yes, you Scum, Slayer, Rogue are the different options there. Valerio has the Squire, Mercenary, and Knight versions. So that's kind of cool to see. I dig that. I'm going to go through all of them. Again, the art looks pretty cool. I would like to have seen a little bit lighter here, and it looks like they have a separate card here, Squire, Knight, and this is hopefully two-sided there. Yeah, and then Mercenary, to explain all their other abilities and stuff like that. That's what all of that is. Then it looks like you have your stretch goal ones here. I'm going to go through all of them, but there's more there. Cool. I like that. I'm glad they have that. Okay, so underneath that, more cards here, right? So let's go and take a look at that just so we can pack it back in. And we'll look at some of those big cards and envelopes and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and off-camera open all of the cards. All right, guys, got it all open, and I must say I actually really like this storage stuff. Now, I will say it looks like unless I don't end up filling these, it will not support sleeves because of a height issue, right? Because this is like right there at the edge. But there's enough space around here, and I suspect that's what these extra spots are for. That's just for dice. It just keeps popping up. So it's nice to have all that. All this is separate. This does go all the way down, so I can grab the whole thing and get it. I do like that. Again, all of these are separate too. And again, there's more space here. I don't know if I'll fill it up or not. And then some more here. Let's go ahead and start here. Now this looks like it's more... I don't know what this is exactly. Let's see here. So we have, it looks like all different locations and stuff like that. Then we have like some companions and stuff. So this is just cards for different people and stuff. Okay, here's some like mission stuff, right? Maybe stretch goal stuff, I think is what this possibly is. Chimera hunt or different hunts, stuff like that. Over here is like the campaign stuff, and that is not separated. So this is all one big thing here. As you can see, you have envelopes here that I think they're full. Yeah, they're full of stuff. So I'm not going to open them up, but they have that here. I just opened this first one here. I try not to open the stuff I haven't been into yet. I might later on, I don't know. So I'm trying not to spoil too much. Not that, I mean, it's not like this is like some, you know, crazy narrative thing in that sense, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, spoilers. But you can see all the different stuff here. It is in like reverse order. So each one of these is like left to right, right? So this is the top card and the bottom card, which is kind of interesting because then it goes, so it's like top to bottom, but then this card will be higher than this card. So it really needed to almost be like opposite, right? It needed to be like this, I would think. Now, until I know more, I'm going to keep it the way they put it in, but I think it's backwards. And kind of a left to right kind of thing. It's like left to right, left to right, left to right, like over going right to left. Anyway, it's weird. But I love, so again, I've been playing Chronicles of Druigar Apocalypse, and I love the POI system. I love the idea of being able to explore the trapdoor of the wardrobe and going in there and seeing that. Stuff like that, super cool. Looks like they have components, looks like they have maps. Looks like, at least for some of them, they could have combined this, but I'm sure some get bigger or larger and stuff like that. Then there's a different mission. Then you can replace that mission. You can find different things, go to different places. I love this. Very RPG-like. And a lot of fun. Here's an elusive ally that you can have, I guess, and you know, so they keep going. Here's a scroll. It looks like you can get and actually read or something like that. Some paper, not a scroll, not that old. Anyway, looks fun. I dig it. I really like it. That's cool. So different gameplay mechanics, stuff like that. Those are fun cards. And then of course you have the envelopes too, which again are in an envelope for a reason. Looking at some of like these cards down here. Actually, let's look at these first, I guess. So rifle through them a little bit. Card thickness is good. It's got a nice, I guess the thickness isn't that great. The core seems pretty strong, fairly okay. Better than some card games, not as good as or some board games, not as good as a card game. They do have a little bit of a linen finish, but they're not rough feeling. They are shiny linen, right? And I tend not to like that. It gets a little bit hard to read it sometimes. Looks like even when it's a similar background, it is a different background each time. It is a little unique. No, so this one is, right? But then this one looks to be the exact same. I'm looking at that branch there. That branch is certainly the same, but it looks like the rock has changed. So it looks like they just kind of reused elements to customize each one. Like there, the plant is the same as that plant. Well, maybe it is. Anyway, they're not very different, that's for sure. Yeah, see, that's the same background. Oh, dude, that guy looks freaking sweet. Love it. So again, it's a little dark, right? I mean, I think the art's slightly dark, especially for the dark background. It's just a dark kind of, it's not a very bright game. And I would like to see the contrast up a little bit. Again, the lighting I have here is definitely exceptional and won't always be like that's dark. Even like I can't quite even tell. It looks like a mask with a hat on it. That's very dark on dark, right? So you don't have that like this is better contrast, right? Either way, looks like you got some symbols, some information on like range, stuff like that. It looks very standard. I bet you could guess what a lot of this is without even reading the rule book, which is kind of nice. A lot of items and stuff like that. Deep blue artifact, arcane immunity, stunned. Very cool. I like all that. Looks like we have some achievements. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder how achievements are going to work. Oh, interesting. Oh, crap. Oh, no. How did that work? I think it was just like this. Watch out, guys. These linen cards, I'm not always a fan of linen cards. Like I said, they can get shiny and they can get very slippery sometimes too. I mean, I suppose it's better than like, you know, sticky. But either way, I'm not gonna look at all the cards. Let's grab some of this and then we'll probably call it good. At some point, you get diminishing returns. Like these are different materials and stuff that you can get. Or loot that you can get or something like that. Careful with that mercury, of course. Different artifacts. Magic trick. Oh, that's fun. I love magic tricks. More people here. This is like abilities for the enemies that you can hunt and stuff with the bear. Looks like this is, I don't know, some kind of like quest system or something like that. Cool. All right, so I think that's it for that. So you know what? I think all that's left is a whole bunch of awesome minis. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's fix this. There we go. Okay. We're going to start with the big mini here. Okay, here's the spider chick. Everybody loves the spider chick. It's all the rage ever since Dark Souls started that fad, how I feel. When it comes to spider with torso of woman, right? Often there was like a head of a woman, or often it was like spider legs coming out the back or something like that. Kind of like this, and they're keeping that, right? But Dark Souls had the spider lady where it was just a lady like plopped onto a spider, and ever since then we get this stuff. And again, people love it. people dig it. Let's see. So the basing, I do like that. It does have a little bit of a rim. That's just a style choice. I would prefer not to have the rim because I feel it takes away from that, but I understand why some people really like it, obviously. The skulls look to be appropriate size. Look about the size of her face, so that's good. They're not like little, giant skulls or midget skulls or anything like that. It definitely looks like webbing, so I dig that as well. The underside is all sculpted. I appreciate seeing that. This is attached in kind of a weird way in that it goes it looks like it doesn't end. I feel like this would end in a tip. It's kind of where it's going. And instead, it just kind of looks like it almost goes inside of the web, which I guess is possible, but it's kind of an interesting abdomen entirely, right? Or whatever, this thorax, or I don't know, whatever. Because it looks like a chili pepper or something like that. Like this is something I pick out of my garden, right? Let's see. All of the legs are not connected, which is kind of fun because it's all connected here essentially. There was some lift here, so you see right here where there's a gap. So often that means like it just wasn't pressed on all the way or something like that, or for whatever reason there was a little bit of lift. Everything else is fine. It's just this one area looks like it didn't quite get pushed down all the way, perhaps, when it was put onto this flat base. Okay, let's see. Fingers are actually nicely detailed. I like seeing that. That's great. The sleeve looks good. I appreciate that. The hair looks good. All that's nice and crisp. It's not attached to the weapon here. This weapon, nice and straight. That works. It helps that it's also attached here on the sleeve. That's a smart choice there. These legs come to a nice point. I actually really appreciate these points that the legs have. And again, having it outstretched that far, over the base like that, very cool. It makes it a little bit more intimidating and stuff like that. I'm not seeing a clear mold line anywhere either, which is great. That's good to see. It means they hit it well. Looks like it's probably right here, but they took good care of it. Yeah, it's not that bad. You could trim that up pretty easily. Again, this assembly piece here looks good. It was assembled good here. That line's really good. Yeah, this is a fun mini. I like this one. All right, so now I get to show you guys the lid more properly with this next tray. Zoom out a little bit. Hello. I see the situation here on this table. There's a lot of game here. All right, let's. Oh, that's a lovely sound. Look at the characters first. Or I guess this is like generic enemies first. So these trays look much better than the bent tray there. The thing I will say here is you see how this lock does not engage at all. I'm not sure if I've ever seen one not work like that. It looks like there's just too much of a gap. Like this is just built too big. So which is why, again, it just pops off, right? So if you look here, let me point out both how the lock works. There it is. Okay, so right here, there's an indentation, right? And this indentation should match this right here. So in other words, it kind of pops over this is the idea, right? So you have this little bit of a bulge here. Let me get a little bit closer. Whoop, there goes the lid. You have this little bulge here, and then it just kind of snaps there and snaps off. Snaps there and snaps off is the idea. Now, the problem is it was made slightly too big, which is a bummer because it means it just doesn't lock at all. So if you look here, what you're going to see is a little bit of a gap. Do you see that kind of gap? Or you can kind of see it right there too, right? There's like this little bit of a gap on the sides. Looks like more than on this side. There was a slight on this side too. It's just ever so slightly too big. So this small indentation, look at the indentation here. This very small indentation right there, right? You can see it kind of come in right there. Maybe you can see that on my finger. there you go. You can kind of see that. Isn't an indentation enough. It's like too faint. Either the indentation needed to increase, or this needed to be a little bit of a tighter fit. Either way, this does nothing. It is completely loose. Now, thankfully, it was packed in the box well enough, and it still lays flat to where, even though they can jostle a little bit, they're not going to come out. Now, if you didn't want that, you hear that? If you didn't want that, you can put some, there are two options. One I dislike, one I like. You can also put those same kind of locks on the Mini so that it kind of grips the side of the Mini. I don't like that because it rubs off paint, so you can't paint your Minis as well. The other option is to put some little like indentations on here, right, to kind of dip in that hold each Mini. Just like, it's almost like if this was really hot and you could just poke into it real quick, just to ever so slightly be right in front of the Mini, and so that then they don't move up and down, right? That's kind of your solutions there. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. Let's move this over here. Move this over here. We're going to zoom in a little bit. All right, we're going to start with this one. This is fun. Let's say you get like 3 of these guys, and they are so unique, so cool. I like it. Okay, so yeah, obviously, this is kind of interesting. They're separated. Now, I don't know exactly why, but they are. That's just how they did it. I'm not sure why they're not just like that. I could not tell you why, but they're not. Instead, they have these like clasps here. I'm assuming these are maybe supposed to be different colors or something like that. I'm not. I couldn't tell you. So it's almost like I don't know. So normally LMS puts this on the bottom of their Minis. Now these bases don't have those. Instead, these do. And then they have a little tiny grip here to kind of grip the Mini so that it mostly just stays on there, doesn't fall off. It does make it where you can turn it, but you definitely, no, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure why, but it looks like every single Mini has that. It seems rather an expensive thing to do, to have this ABS plastic. You can tell by the sound of it, right? Versus this. And it's kind of level of shininess and just the firmness of it. This is ABS plastic, more expensive. This is a PVC, probably a PVC ABS mix by the look of it, but either way. This part's generic. This part is sculpted. I do like the sculpts. I think that's nice. There is a little bit of a mold line here, but nothing too bad per se, I would say. It looks good. Mini looks separated enough from the base, so that's nice. It's a very cool pose. This is not too fat. It looks like they folded this in ever so it goes in slightly, so it kind of meets with this. Neither of these are too thick, so that's good. I appreciate that. The detail on like all the different bags and stuff like that, especially the things hanging here, very cool to see. The facial features look quite nice. I do appreciate that. The hair looks good. It looks like it ends pretty well. It doesn't like kind of go off too much. The assembly looks good. You can see that this was added here. A little bit of, looks like a runner there. Not too bad. And then he's got like this like gun that he's holding on this like weapon mast kind of thing. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Like a flag folded up or something. The tie or the cinch here looks super cool. The one thing here is this is filled in here. So this was probably empty, and then they had to fill it in because of, I guess, some negative spacing there, I suppose. I think you still could have pulled it out that way. Maybe it's just too fine a detail. I'm not exactly sure. Same with right here. That's filled in. And this is folded tight enough to where that's not the case. It would have been nice to maybe put something there or something, but either way, it's okay. But you'll have to deal with that when you paint it. Otherwise, it's a cool pose. I like his head kind of cocked to the side. He's kind of leaning back a little bit. And again, just mounting the gun on there is a neat idea. I like that. Additionally, guns often don't have a lot of detail, but this little musket with all the different firing stuff and all that does, and it looks really cool. I dig that. It's mostly straight, a little bent, but not too bad. Yeah, he looks cool. All right, next up we have this guy, and my goodness, I don't remember him in Italy. So he needs to, there we go, be popped in a little bit more. That's a much tighter fit than the other guy. That's a way tighter fit. Interesting. Okay, he's not coming out. Looks to be the exact same. No, but it's very close. It's the same style, right? The cobblestone, and then in front, not the cobblestone. However, he has different molding right here. I don't like that this is perfectly between his legs. It just seems too symmetrical, too kind of obvious. I would have liked it a little bit more haphazard than that. Other than that, though, I do like the sculpted base, so that is nice.
He's a nice mini to make because he's actually really cheap, right? Because he's just, boom, here he is, right there, just like that. And I really appreciate that. That makes it very easy. But it does mean he's kind of flat on the X-plane there, minus this little tail here, which is, I guess, kind of fun. Either way, makes it a lot easier to manufacture. The face is kind of interesting. He's wearing a mask, and those can be really hard to do, but I do see the difference between his skin and his mask for the most part. It's a little soft here and more crisp here. So it's like half the face, like this part is crisp. You can see that really nice delineation there between the mask and the face. And then this one is much softer. So it's a little bit not exactly even. But other than that, I think it looks cool, that's for sure. The assembly here with this shield looks great, and the shield obviously turned out awesome. The ornate armor and everything are a lot of fun. The tail's cool. This is like flat, which is kind of a bummer. It would have been nice not to have that so flat, just because it is noticeable. Even like from the side, you can see it just juts out there. Some kind of shape here would have been nice, and in fact, it almost seems like this was added for stability or something, because like this whole section here doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe it does to you, but the straightness of that just, I mean, you can see it there. It looks so artificial. It's unfortunate they're just bloop. In other words, I bet the sculpt originally didn't, and then their manufacturer's like, oh, negative space, bloop, there we go, now it's not. Which kind of sucks. The axe thickness is perfect. I think that's great. That looks good. I dig that. Very connected to his arm like this. It does look like it goes into his glove a little bit. So right here, it's resting right on his arm. And yet here, there's supposedly a glove that goes there, right? So it's like it goes through, it's resting against his arm through the glove, right? And so that kind of separation would have been nice to see. And it looks like this bandolier kind of strap thing gets a little kind of, I don't know what the texture going on here is, but I don't see the same texture present here. So I'm not quite sure what that is. Muscle definition looks great. Neck looks good. All the veins, stuff like that. Like I said, assembly is good. Overall, cool mini. Okay. This is a problem. So I think it's supposed to look, I think this one came out probably just about perfect, right? Like that's about what you want it to look like. I would think he actually wanted it like in here. I don't know why they didn't put it in there, but they didn't. They put it on the outside. But either way, look how straight and nice it is. Like that looks great, right? That's like exactly what you want. And this to me seems this is PVC to a T, right? It would have been nice because this is an assembled part too. Do you see this? It would have been nice to make this entire arm ABS. That would have been the better choice. It would have cost them more, but it would have made these perfect. Each one of these would have been perfectly straight, just like this. Instead, I get this from varying degrees of limpness, or shall I say flaccidity in there, where that's the only one that's straight. This one's close, but not quite. Then comes this one, a little droopy. Then you get this, and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on? And then this guy just won like a Darwin Award or something. Like, what the heck? So it got like tucked behind the shield and then like stayed there. Now, hot water can fix these pretty easily. You get a bowl of cold water, like even like with ice in it. It doesn't have to be like super duper cold, but cold, right? And then you can either run it on a hot tap or put some hot water in there. You don't have to boil it or anything like that. It's nothing crazy, especially for something small like this. And then you submerge that into the hot water. Ideally, it repositions itself to its natural state. If not, you can hold it there like right where you want it. Like, I want it right there. And you just take this and dump it in the cold water, and it resets. The hot makes it bendable, and then the cold kind of locks in the shape. Now, sometimes you'll get it slowly going back. You have to do it a few times, but I can do it. What would have solved this is, again, angling this ever so slightly or moving this more close or something like that to where it could have fit in here like that. That would have been what you want, but I don't think that was in the cards. His arm would have had to come out more, And for whatever reason, in other words, if instead of like this, he was like that, right? That would have done it, but that's not what they did. Feather is okay. The detail's almost completely lost here. There's some detail there, but it's very, 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 very faint. I like the gap here with the cloth and then the helmet. Like, that's nice to see. I do dig that. The face looks pretty good. This would have been nice to not be so full, or if nothing else, have a lip, but instead it's like completely just bloop, flat without any texture. Even having a line here separating the outside from the inside would have been slightly nice. And the problem is that, you know, it is so high, it's almost to his knees, and it does curve up even higher that, well, you won't see it like this. When you pick him up, you're definitely going to see the flat part. It's not like it's really low or anything like that. Once again, they're putting detail just right in between the legs. I don't really understand that. They're also still doing the exact same style base, except this time this is angled this way and he's stepping into it, which is nice, I guess. But it is very much a right in the transition thing. I think they try to do that on purpose so it fits in multiple. But I'm not liking the line of stuff that they're constantly walking on. Detail here is good. I like the lines. The stitching and stuff, all that looks good. The wrinkles look nice. Scabbard looks good. Nothing looks bent or anything like that. Again, the assembly on these arms was done well. I think it's just the overall sculpt that doesn't quite leave the weapon to be as straight as it could be, per se. All right, next we got this guy. He has something right near his foot, but that's it. So that looks good. I'm fine with that. The armor here is great. I love this armor. That's really good looking. The face mask, super cool. The shield, freaking sweet. That is a great looking shield. The detail work here, and then the again with the gilding and trim work and all that looks good. His hand in there looks like that works pretty well. I don't know. Yeah, okay, no, this strap's there. That's good too. This attached right here, I think looks great. That they did that well. It even has this little like cinch here, so that's good. It's not the best detail there, but the sculpt design, you can tell exactly what it's doing. It's pulling on that a little bit, so I do like that. It helps connect it between these 2 points pretty well. The shaft is thick enough, which makes sense for a Warhammer like this. Actually, I mean, this is bigger than a normal Warhammer, but anyway. Makes it where it's not wobbly. This is just a fun one. I like this one. This is perhaps my favorite one so far. Just there's not really a whole lot to complain about this one. It's nice. I like it. Looks like you do get a bit of a bend in here. And again, it's just the PVC nature of this. If they had had a stronger ABS mix or made some things ABS, then that would have stayed nice and firm. The difference in plastic is PVC is cheaper and more flexible, which is nice for it's not snapping off or anything like that. ABS, once you bend it so much, it'll actually snap, but it's also much harder. So for little things, that can work really well. Another fun one, I really like these armored guys. The 2 cloaks look killer. The sword on like a strap on the cloak, freaking sweet. Actually, there's like 3 cloaks. The detail work on here is good. Now, I prefer indentation over it being out like this because it's easier to paint. You just put your brush in there and the indentation guides it. When it's extruded like this, you have this tiny little wall that you need to figure out how to paint. And you're either painting it super careful, and it's a lot harder to have something that's popping out with a wall versus going in with a wall where your brush naturally paints it as you paint the indentation. But it looks good. It looks cool. I do dig that. Again, the sword there, freaking sweet. The only thing I would probably complain about here is both characters have a convenient rock placement that makes it a little obvious to me. Maybe a little too obvious what's going on there when it comes to a connection point. I would have liked us, at least in the same unit style, to have a little bit of a differentiation there. This does have XI on it, which is kind of interesting. I wonder, like, do they all have that? Yeah, they all do. It's kind of interesting. It's got 11 there. Again, holding the hammer looks cool. I dig that. All that looks good. Detail-wise, all the gilding looks great. This is, again, a little flat here. It's kind of unfortunate. Also, it looks like some of these are much looser than others when it comes to that. It's a little thick here as well. Tiny bit of a mold line. Like, see how thin this is? Why is that one so thin and that one not? I'll tell you why. A lot of times, because of injection, the closer you are to it, the thicker it needs to be, and it can kind of thin out here. But I mean, look how thick that, like, it should be fine, because they need to be able to push plastic through it too, right? It can't just be like super skinny and then huge here. They'll have some issues with filling it out like that. So often you'll have them try and come and like thicken things out a little bit. I think they could have done less here, brought this back in and made that a little bit skinnier. That would have been nice. And then same with this. I don't know what's going on with this. It looks like it's a piece of the cloth, but then look how it looks like it ends there, and then they just filled in this side, or it looks like it should have maybe caved in, but it didn't, so they just blocked it out. Anyway, there's that one. All right, we got this guy again, fairly flat on the single plane like that. Again, we're doing this stuff here where it's like they're staying in between stuff that's conveniently in a line. That kind of drags me out of it. I wish they hadn't done. I would have rather have not had it on the base at all than have that. Again, pretty thick down here. And again, raised leg means you will kind of start to see that dip there. Face looks good. The facial details they've been doing a great job with. Again, the thickness of these axes, a little thick, but not too bad. It's all right. I think these axe blades are a little bit thicker than like that big guy's axe blades, which is kind of funny. Detail on here looks nice as well. That looks nice and crisp. That's cool looking. Yeah, looks great. I'll get a whole bunch of those guys. Okay. This is fun too. I love this. Assembly looks good. Looks like they did a really good job with that, though perhaps maybe not quite on the front as much as the back. The face with the beard and the hair and the furrowed brows and all that looks great. The guns even have their barrels like drilled slightly, which is nice. Again, the detail on there, it looks good. At least this line is a little bit farther back. It's not just, perfectly between his feet. Instead, it's between his heels, whatever. And the pose overall is cool too. I like that. I like the forward and to the left as opposed to on either side, which I think has been done a lot more. And then his sword here looks pretty neat too. Same with the sashels and stuff like that. Yeah, I like that. Part one of my favorite. Okay, we got this guy here. Looks like a fawn with his legs like that. So again, I love the basing. They did a lot more here where it's not a straight line. In fact, it's covering over the base, which I always appreciate. The blades are not too thick. I appreciate that as well. This one's a little kind of stubby, but not too bad. And this one's acceptable. Let's see. The beard does a good job of filling that in. They have some good texture there, which I appreciate. The armor, obviously, really cool, really detailed. We've got layers and layers of detail here, which is pretty darn impressive. Yeah, this is cool. I like that right there at the edge there. The good separation between the fur and the hoof also. Yeah, that's a cool one. All right, next we have these imp guys, and I really, really like these imp guys. They're just a bunch of fun. They have like these gigantic spears things that are super, cool just to be able to throw, especially for their size. I think that's great. This is obviously a separate piece here, but it was assembled quite well. I like the bracing against the rock. I think that's a smart choice for the sculpt, so I like that. The face with the open mouth like that, awesome. The headpiece looks good. The little bits of hair came out really good there. Make sure that's focused. There you go. I think the one thing I'll say is, first of all, even with this little thing, it's already like assembly here, bending a little bit. But this seems like they go into each other too much. So it makes it almost look like one big piece that doesn't match that. But do you see how like this comes in through there? It's like it's not... you can tell this was digitally made, right? Where this goes inside of this and then comes through, which makes no sense physically. But because it's just a non-physical piece, you can totally do that. So it's a little weird. I think this is supposed to be two pieces as well. But it's literally pretty much one triangle with a line in it is what they did there. So here you can kind of see that again. There's that line right there, right through the middle. That's just kind of, horns look great as well. It's still a really fun piece. I like that, but that quiver could have used some attention. You got a whole bunch of those. You got another guy here. Again, I love his what looks almost like a pot belly. Oh wow, we got like a whole bunch of hair here on the braid. That looks super cool. That's sweet there. Looks like we got I don't know what kind of weapon is this? Where it's like a ball and chain. You tell me. Either way, that's a lot of fun. It looks like They did a good job making that arm just tucked in enough where they didn't have to fill that in or make it look filled in while filling it in with the arm, obviously. Ears look great. Again, the whole face, fantastic. These are just fun minis. That's cool. I dig that. I almost want to say gondola. I don't think it's a gondola. Okay, last one of this tray. Here we go. This is way too thick of a sword. What the heck happened here? Like, why do you... Look at the difference in sword here. Like, what is going on? Like, sorry, that was like that looked like that, but it's not. That's the difference in sword here. It's like two different sculptors didn't talk to each other, and we're like, oh yeah, this one this way, this one another way. Or what's more often the case, same sculptor, you get it in there, both look like this. You give this to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer has a team of sculptors to make this into essentially a viable injection plastic. And some will play it super safe and do this to your sword, and some other guy, again, you don't get to choose, it's not all one guy, it's normally a whole team, does this to your sword, and it looks great. But then it can be a little bendy, and so they need to you need to step on the manufacturer and make sure that you get a consistent look so your swords don't do this, right? Every other sword I looked at here, and there was quite a few, are not like that. Like even these, which are a little bit thicker, right? Still not that thick. That is massive. My goodness, what's going on there? So anyway, I don't know what that's now banana blade. That's not a good sword at all. It doesn't look like a good sword. And sadly, even like this part here just got filled in, so it doesn't look that great. It's got like this weird like square by the looks of it, but I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be holes there, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the sculpt. Either way, I'm glad he's not standing in between straight things. Legs still look great. There's a little bit of super fine detail here that it just isn't going to translate to any kind of paint or anything like that. It's almost too small. A little bit of a mold line, but nothing too bad there. Here it's a little bit worse on the ankle. We'll need to do some trim up there and on the feet. The shoes look okay. They're a little mushy in detail, but not too bad. Sadly, oh man, the arm looks freaking sweet here. Sadly, this is probably my least favorite out of the batch. I actively dislike that sword. And that's one whole tray. We got one more tray to go, and then we have the Magister stuff to look at. All right, take a look at these. This will be fun. And there's not as many though. Let's look at the characters first. That's important, right? Okay, so even the characters, again, got this like little surrounding here. It's so strange. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So again, a line of stuff here, but at least it comes out here. Now, once again with this sword, I don't understand. Like, this is one of the main characters. You can play this character, and that's the sword you get, that thing. If you're concerned that it was too thick, then make a connection point with the feathers here. Just have it just slightly connect to it, just ever so slightly, so it's more stable. So then you only have that much that's not supported. And then with that, you can have a skinnier one. Or, I know what a concept. Both of these are added. Use ABS. Any manufacturer can do that. I guarantee their manufacturer could do that. So it's kind of a bummer that didn't happen. Instead, it's the same kind of bendy, cheap PVC plastic that makes them make banana blades like that. And then it's still bent. Very frustrating. Face looks cool. Helmet's neat. Feathers are a lot more detailed than some of the other ones. I like the wear and tear on the cape, by the way. That looks cool. The shield looks good. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but it's like missing a rivet here. Do you see that? I'm assuming that's on purpose, but it's kind of interesting that it's missing right there. It's like, what the heck here? Maybe make sure you can see that. Yeah, so right there. Well, like, what happened to that one? What's going on there? I don't know. Maybe that's on purpose, maybe not. Yeah, no, all this looks good. I like the detail on like literally pretty much everything. It looks good. Now, they made this cape really, really thick. Way too thick. It's nice that they have the lines here, but this would weigh him down, and there's no real need for it. They could have easily have like tucked this in more, right? To where it was like this skinny, at least the whole way through. It's much fatter here than it is up here. So it just kind of gets wider and wider and wider to an almost ridiculous like use case there. Otherwise, I love the pose. I think the pose is awesome. Assembly looks good. Again, that blade though, and this thing, they're just making things too fat, too thick. Oh, interesting. Why are these locked in and the other ones aren't? So this is what they did with this one. we'll start over here, where you see how it like holds onto the mini and doesn't want to come out. You can like almost lift the whole tray. That is from a really tight point here, right? This is just thickening it up. And I wonder if, like, is that what they did? Because if he's like this, I bet it won't do that at all. Yeah, at that point it's loose. But then you put, come on, you put this on it, and then suddenly, ugh, it's like this grippiness I'm not a fan of. I just want to be able to take the mini out without lifting the whole tray. Okay, this one came out really cool. Again, I would say this is too thick. I don't think it needs to be that thick at all. The inside here, really like seeing that's textured there. That looks very good, I feel. Obviously the like cloth decorations and lines and a little bit of wear and tear and wrinkles and stuff, all that looks great. Assembly's been good across the board. Their assembler is doing very good. The tree stump does have rings. I always appreciate seeing that. Put rings on your tree stumps. They're not just flat in there. The hair came out great as well. The staff came out pretty good. I don't know what this flat part here is supposed to be. I have to look at the art again to see that. But I'm assuming it's on purpose, and that looks good. Okay, so this sleeve textured. This sleeve, a little bit less. And in fact, the sleeves don't seem very even either. This is a very thick sleeve. This, not so much. Quite skinny and small, actually. So I'm not too sure about that. And again, this is bent a little bit. Again, just a better quality plastic would have done well. They're doing good on the texture, like the hair and stuff. That looks great. Really, really good. Let me get a close-up of that hair for you. Look at that. Really impressive hair. Really impressive face. All that's really good. But then you also get like a lot of bendiness in it, and that's not a property I really appreciate on it. Very skinny legs. Like it almost looks like she's walking on like toothpicks or something like that. Yeah, either way, cool mini. I like it. Looks cool. This, so again, I'd love to see the original render, because I feel the factory does this a lot. So I'm not saying it's necessarily Louismana's fault, except that they approved of the miniature. Look at this going direct. Why would you? This was such a cool mini. Okay. All right. Look at how this goes into the satchel, right? So again, in a computer thing, like think computer graphics like a video game, and it's called clipping, right? Where a supposedly physical object goes into another physical object. That's exactly what's happening here. If you see here, it literally goes into it. You can see the top of the thing right there. You can see the bottom of it. It literally cuts it in half. So then the other half is over here. It's not flowing over. It's going into it. And that is just, that is so unfortunate they did that. See how this one actually kind of does the same thing. So this should kind of like go around, right? You can see how it's tucked in there. So right there, they're trying to make it to where it tucks on the outside, right? So that you see this, it doesn't go through. But then on this side, it doesn't actually like necessarily tuck. And so it starts right there, like in the middle of it. So even this kind of goes through a little bit, but this one is what, this one right here was the satchel. Sorry about the focus. Is one of the most egregious examples I've ever seen of just going straight through another object, like it's like a laser thing or something. Unfortunate. Fingers look nice too. Unfortunate that they didn't catch that. Again, it pays to really focus on minis like that, because it's forever. And a lot of people want to paint it, and then you're painting, you're like, what the heck? Why is this ribbon going through a satchel? Again, we do have a little bit in the middle that tends to be like it's never behind, it's never in front, but at least it's not from foot to foot. So yeah, again, they're doing great on like the cloth and stuff like that. The hood here in particular with the head inside of it like that looks great. The hair looks nice. The neck's way down there, that looks perfect. So they did a good job there. Again, with the cloth wrinkles, the like banding to separate that from the skin looks good. Looks like there's some texture here, some stitching that came out quite well. I like that. The daggers, I'm okay with. They're a little fat. I think this one's a little bit fatter than this one, which is also kind of weird, but you know, that's okay. Let's see, assembly-wise, I'm not seeing any assembly. It's all one piece. Again, fairly flat on the plane, so you can just bloop, put a clamp on that and print it. This is a little thick. I would have liked to have seen this hidden a bit more. You can tell kind of how thick it is there, but for the most part, it looks like they try to hide that fairly well. One of the funny things here is this right here. This should have really not been the case. So it looks like this is probably the sculpt they gave, right? This skinny part here. But then they flattened it all, but they didn't bring it all the way over, and instead keep this part skinny. But it should have blended more instead of the obvious, like, look how much it was and then how much we fattened things here. Just a small blend there to curve down to meet that, I think would have made that look a lot better. All right, this is one I actually kind of had a comment on during the campaign. I actually spoke with, I think, the guy in charge of their sculpt design for this. And we didn't see eye to eye, but, that's okay. That happens. Essentially, in this render, what they did is these chains were separated. So this was a much smaller thing. And then there was the chains with gaps in between the chains. And I said, there's no way you're getting that on a mini. And he agreed. He said, you're right. There's no way we're getting that on a mini. That render is impossible, which was my problem. I was like, why are you showing renders you know are going to be impossible? Like, anybody could point at that and be like, that's not going to happen. And they said that they wanted their render creators to not be bound by essentially the physical limitations of making a mass, injection Chinese factory run miniature of a small size. So they can just kind of design however they want, and then they figure it out later. Now, the figure out later here did okay. It's not bad. It's not the best, but it works. My worry was they would just fill it with a texture of like chain. And what they did is on these chains, they filled it with this like little, I don't even know what this is. But whatever it is, that's what they filled it with so that the chain is now like directly on that, right? But it would have been nice, I think, to just have this as a render. I think the render would have looked just fine with this, except now you're advertising what you're actually going to deliver instead of advertising and something is fake that can't be done. Okay, so with that out of the way, the chain and the filling it with that, it works. It's kind of silly, just because how the chain like naturally forms around the like bulb part here. But other than that, I think it works okay. A little thick here again. See how thin this is, and now this side's really thick. So that's obviously not how that would work, right? But that's how this is. This just grows out, and they just bloop, no texture, no ribbon, no anything. If the manufacturer isn't budging, and this happens sometimes. I remember doing this with like Primal with Reggie Games and stuff. Then you can at least add like some lines in there to show like a wrinkly inside or something like it's this extra padding there that for whatever reason. Either way, better than a flat, straight, artificial, inorganic thing like that is. This texture here is great. In fact, that little gap there is killer. Love that. The texture on the robe and stuff as well, freaking awesome. Looks great. Very cool. I dig that. The flat stack of line things between there, I have no idea why they're doing that, and I wish they would stop. Every single mini seems to have this, it seems. Face looks good. The facial expression's nice. His fingers holding this came out great, which is really awesome to see. That is not always the case. All this rope and stuff looks great. Looks good. And again, it is a little different, the size between the chain and the rope, but whatever. All of this detail, though, again, going to be a little bit more difficult to paint, but also will look super cool once it is. Oh, I can barely get these minis out sometimes. All right, here is an archer lady, and we have no string here. That's pretty normal, especially for PVC minis. She does have an arrow here, and it is quite straight. I like this. I think this looks great. It's separate, too. They could have glued that, but they didn't. It is an assembly job, so it's a separate piece there. The bandana thing here looks good. It doesn't get too thick. I'm actually okay with that. Quiver on the side, accurate, looks good, and these are already quite long. Yeah, her feet, I like the feet pose that she has, right? Like being up on a little tiptoe like that looks super cool, so I dig that. Yeah, there's not really a lot bad to say about this one. This is just a fun one. I like this. It comes out good. I like the flow. You can tell like it looks like she moved her hips to the side, which is something you'll see a lot of female characters do, right? There'll be bloop. She must have moved her head that way to like make this flow that way, right? If she had moved her whole body that way, this would have been flowing the other way. Or like she turned her head maybe fast, something like that. Either way, it works. It's just kind of two different movements right at the same time. All right, this guy's fun. Look at this guy. I love the witch doctor looking kind of dude. So he has this like chain and all this like smoke coming up, which is awesome. Again, with the kind of the flat filling here, but I think this works better for the kind of coat that he has. I think it's okay. It's just really big and again really flat, so it would have been nice to do some extra TLC there. These are the best feathers out of the whole game, it seems. These are much better than all the other feathers I have seen combined. Very good feathers there. I do love the smoke. Seems to hold pretty good. The assembly is nice as always. This is a little thick though. This is like way thick. Like if we look at even the two here, right? One is thicker than the other. Like why is his thicker than that, right? Across the board. Look at it again. It looks like they gave it to the manufacturer that is whatever the manufacturer did do it, and then two different people did this, right? And one guy again with like just like the swords was like, oh, we could totally do that with this, and then this guy's like, no, we got to thicken it up. I don't know why. Sometimes they just do that, and you got to get a different guy on their team, or at least talk to them and be like, yeah, no, you guys can do it different. You did it here, right? And then sometimes they'll be like, oh, we'll thicken that other one too. It's like, no, stop thickening everything up to an exorbitant amount. This is attached, which is nice, but again, this is so thick. So huge, it's massive. And then this doesn't look like a scythe at all. Like the side of it looks pretty good, the top of it not so much. Sadly though, you're playing the game, that's how you're gonna see the mini. You're just gonna be looking at that the whole freaking time. Such a cool thing too. The rim of the hat's a little bit thicker than I would have liked as well. A lot of companies are doing them thinner than that at this point. So that's a pretty thick brim to the hat there. Texture on here looks great. They do texture really well. But then some of the other things I think do fall unnoticed, which is unfortunate. Yeah, all the feathers there look good. I found them bunched up like that. They did that on purpose, of course. And the bird here looks cool too. It's just unfortunate this is so thick on such a cool character otherwise. Okay, one more character. Here he is. Here's our assassin. Again, love the blade. That's always fun to come out of. Looks like it's sheathed there. Looks like it does okay coming out of the finger. It almost looks like it goes through a finger. Maybe he just didn't get his finger out in time. Okay, the hood looks good. I like the recesses there. The sword looks good. Again, thinner than that scythe, that's for sure. I think they did a fairly good job on the cloth, but again, with the flat, that's a consistent thing. This is the details like from 2023. The flat, skirt dresses that they do are like straight from like 2012. It's like a decade old. I'm surprised they're still doing that. Not a lot of companies are. A lot of companies are smarting up and putting some texture there, trimming it out, making it go deeper in there so it's not so far out. Doing a lot of other things, tips and just dealing with the manufacturer to really lessen that. Same with this. There's no rim, right? That's often a thing they'll do is they'll angle it up or put a rim there around it so you see the rim more than anything. But no, you just see how flat and thick that is to fill that in, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay, that's it for that color mini, but we got some more here. Look at this one. That looks great. This cloth looks awesome. Looks really good. Again, kind of weird that they're still in like everybody has the same like half here, and so I guess they're walking over kind of a muddy texture now in that dress. I wouldn't if it went all the way to the ground and dragged behind me, but I guess they are. The mask looks fantastic. What a cool mask. I love it. Love the recess there. The whole hat looks cool. Again, the feathers actually came out pretty good on this one. I really like that. A little loose on a little, bland on the back, but not too bad. Detail on this, the sleeves and stuff, and the little tie around their waist and stuff. It just looks great. Even these like beads here just came out so cool. I like that one a lot. Since we already saw her, let's go and look at Nyx. This is the character from Madara. And they do have a little bit of unique base. It looks like they have these little kind of things here. I have no idea what they are, but they're there. This gets really thick down here, but then thins out a little bit there. And of course the blade, like I said, looks a little bit better. Her wings look good. I think they did a good job on that. It's got like a lot of veins, which is a little different, but hey, whatever. I like the bow on the back. That's pretty unique and kind of fun. In fact, this whole kind of dress thing looks cool, especially the high neck piece right here. Hair looks good too. You can see like the hair scrunchy kind of stuff in there, which is super awesome to see. Again, face looks good. Looks like she has her hair in her hand, which is kind of neat. I haven't really seen that on a mini. The mold line is kind of noticeable right here, but it's not terrible. It's not too bad. And it's really only there. Otherwise, it blends in quite well. Yeah, very cool. All right. I'm loving these shields. They do a great job with the shields. They look awesome. A little thick maybe, but otherwise okay. Again, I appreciate the change to the basing here. Everything looks to be in order. I love the sword going in there, though it does look like it's literally going through him. Again, like they keep doing this. So not only is this all flat and like, you know, super thick there, and then not here. So they did a good job making it look thinner here, but then it just makes it look worse when it's like that. And I love the cinch here, but right here, unless his leg goes like this, and this is the shape of his body, this is going through his butt or through his like upper leg. Like that is legit going into his body, and that's unfortunate to see because I think everything else about this mini I like. Like literally everything else looks great. It just sucks that he's stabbing himself. All right, so next we have the gypsies here, and I know I'm excited for this one because of the colors and the dresses, and my wife likes painting them for that exact reason. It's just they're just fun characters, and this one is looking great. I think this is the first time that the billow here is nice and sculpted and actually works. So it's flat here, but I think that that's okay because he didn't just do a sharp line, and instead it just kind of loops with these like big clothes. I think the only thing that looks kind of weird is this part right here looks kind of like a square. And I don't know what's going on there. Do you see that? Like if this didn't have that, I think it'd be fine. But that looks like there's, I don't know, something weird. I also don't like how this follows the leg so closely. I think that looks a little artificial, that it just is pulled in there. Instead of falling straight down, it's like pulled into the leg in a, I feel, very unnatural state, especially with her pose. It just doesn't match. Once again, it's a female mini, so often, bloop, hip goes out. That's just what they do. It's just you got to get used to it. It's cool. The jewelry looks cool. In fact, it looks like she has a belly button ring, which is kind of cool to see. I love the sleeves here. Those turned out really cool. Face, hair looks good. The playing cards look nice. The fingers here are a little kind of weird. So she has 2 fingers here, and then she's supposed to have 2 fingers here. That's noticeable. But on the inside, it's not really noticeable that there are 2 fingers here. It's 2 fingers and a weird kind of lump. More than that. So almost like she has 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, or maybe even 3 fingers. Again, the back side, I think it looks good. The inside, not quite as much. And I think the same thing here, where I think she's supposed to be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and this is supposed to be 2 fingers here, but again, it doesn't look like 2 fingers. So again, it's kind of strange. Overall, though, again, love the jewelry everywhere, the billowing dress and all that. It's a fun mini, but again, some problems there. LMS is so close to being one of the best miniature makers. If they got their sculpts, I think, better designed with the manufacturer, and again, that's what hurts me so much, is like if you just focused more on the final product and on the renders, it would just elevate it even more. Detail-wise on this, look great. Love the rope there. That looks good as well. Also, the face looks great. I love that it's different. He has like actual sunken like cheekbones and stuff, which I really like seeing. Again, with the 2 finger thing, we're doing a lot of 2 fingers. So same thing there. I think it's to help it so that it's not just a skinny finger pointing out, but it also does look kind of silly when your priest is making gun signs. You know, so that's what he's doing with that. And again, such thick plastic here. No, it's just kind of a waste more than anything. Like, just tuck it in if you need to. Like, why is it, like, I don't understand why they keep doing this. But that is, look how, it's just completely flat. It's devoid of any texture, devoid of anything. It's literally artificially done for the mini, and it kind of sucks. Love the trim work here. That looks cool. And the book looks good too. I think they did a good job on the book. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with how he's holding the book as well. Yeah, it's mostly just how, again, they love those thick capes. All right, here's another one that I think looks really cool. First of all, I love the different body type. I really appreciate that. Again, I'm tired of like, oh, look, another skinny chick with her hip out. Like, this is nice. I like it. Her facial features look great. That came out really, really good. All the different like food stuffs in this bowl look awesome. The whole bowl looks cool with the design on the top part of it and stuff like that. The different like ropes and satchels and even stitching where she did a repair on her dress. Super cool. Love seeing that. That's just a fun mini. That's cool. I like that one. All right, now we got the main character that you see. So this is a magic ball that she's kind of like producing here, and as long as you paint that with kind of the dark purplish pinkish stuff going on, I think that would be very obvious what's going there. The hands I think look good on this. The tail is, I'm assuming that's a tail, looks super interesting. It is kind of weird that it looks like, see how separate this is? And again, there's always this some little thing. It's so annoying. I just want to compliment a mini. Okay. Well, these are super separate and they look awesome. Okay. Do you see this leg here and how crisp and separate that is? And then you look at this leg here and it like sinks into it to where literally at some point you stop seeing the leg and start seeing the cloth. It really breaks it for me. Like it just looks silly. It looks like it's so close that her leg must be like that skinny. It's not billowing out or anything like that. It's just sinking into it. And then when you see how separated this one is, it really sucks to see that. Details are good. Assembly is great as always. The face mask came out good. And love the back part of that. The magic looks cool. I dig that. It's coming out of the palms very well. But man, that leg, I swear, it's always something. Okay, we get 3 of these. I'm only going to show one. Okay, so again, pretty cool. That being said, this is really thick, so it's unfortunate to see that, especially when this one they didn't thicken because it's connected to this, so they didn't have to. So when you see it's this skinny, and then you see this one, you're like, what happened with this one? Why is this one skinny and this one not? Why are they so separate, right? So it's unfortunate to see that. The face looks cool, the hair looks cool, the horns look cool, the pose is cool, and I love the kind of the fawn design going on there. Everything coming out to the side here works. It's a little silly it's attached to that, but it works. I'm fine with that. And again, like I said, the hair was good. But it does suck that they fattened this one up and then got away with it, and that's what they did, because that is really, really thick. All right, let's look at, well, let's keep looking at these, then we'll look at the pets. What did the pets last? How about that? Okay, this guy's super cool. Love the cross that he's got going on there. Same thing with this here. In fact, guys, I think we just got our ABS. I think we did. Why this guy got it and nobody else did, I don't know. But that would explain the difference in thickness. Look at this. Do you see the difference? If you don't, I don't know what to tell you, but there's a difference. This is realistic, this is not. This would weigh like 100 pounds for just the like shaft of that. This, not so much. It's very much directed to. And do you see how it doesn't like bend like the rest? Right, like that compared to, let's say, this guy's sword. Okay, let's do this guy's sword. So this PVC. See how it like doesn't really flick back in the same way as this. This you can keep skinny. It's a little bit shinier. It's much harder plastic and will keep its shape very, very well. So that's really nice to see. I'm glad they finally did that. I just wish they would have done that with so many more of them. Face looks awesome. Hair freaking sweet. I want to rock that hairstyle. That's awesome. Again, the embroidery on the top, I wish it was an indentation, but otherwise I'm happy to have it. I think it looks cool. It looks like he's won different medals and awards. Good for him. Good for him. Different scrolls and stuff. Looks like he's got 2 more weapons of some kind in here. So he has quite a bit going on. And again, all of it looks really cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. Maybe the back of the hair leaves a little bit to be desired. Right, just a little plain there versus the front. But otherwise, all right, this is a fun one. Very hard to get out, though. Look at this guy here. This is like Beast from X-Men, but he had a lot of food. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Love the muscle definition, so that's cool. The assembly is a little weird in that it was this whole thing. Makes it look a little bit strange as opposed to just that. I mean, I get it from the pose, but that's a big piece to connect. Love the, again, the satchel that's open. You can see the stuff in there. This is connected and straight, but I'm kind of okay with that. This one I'm less with, right? So you have this like wavy cloth that you're having, and it goes straight up and down like that. It just seems artificially, you know, like Play-Doh or clay molded and Gumby versus a natural flowing cloth. The hands, awesome addition. I dig that. He seems pretty happy. He's like has a little smirk there, and I love the facial feature. I think that's great. Love his little ear poking out, of course, too. The fact that he's sharpening his like blades and stuff would normally work, except I don't know if the back of this would really do anything good for that ear little hook there. But it's a nice skinniness here, a little bit thicker here, and the padding here looks great as well. Very cool mini. All right, now we got this demon guy. He looks sweet, but again, like he's like barely fits in this at all. This connection is not always the easiest, and I worry that picking them up, they're just gonna start falling off. I have to keep reattaching them or take them off. I don't know why they're on there to begin with. The hooves look cool. The weapons look cool, though they are really thick. Like that's a really thick blade. Like that's as thick as that man's arm. Can you imagine your blade as thick as your arm? Like that's crazy. They come off to a okay point. This one's a little bit skinnier by the looks of it, but that one's pretty darn fat. Okay, his face, cool that he has this little like strap thing, I guess. Like that's a thing. Sure, why not? Love the ears. Horns are cool. The fur on the body is super neat. I do dig that. That looks cool. Muscle definition's good. The little like soldier cloud one-sided armor plate there. That's pretty neat. Yeah, overall cool design. A little posed. Perhaps as he's just standing there, you know, but that's okay. All right, this is a fun one. I like this one. I love the cloak over the arm with the hand coming out. That looks freaking great. And look at the finger detail on here. And I think it's because, again, we have a different type of plastic here. Because notice how shiny that is, too. So those fingers look great. It would have been nice to have those fingers on all the hands. But I think they give the girls like really small hands, too. Also, look at this basing. Look how much more basing this guy has. This is just a special character. Whoever was designing this or sculpting this liked this character the most. That's all I'm saying. So it is kind of interesting that this like log here doesn't really have a clear line of separation between the log and the rock. There's just, it's almost like melted into it in kind of an interesting way. I think for organic matter that actually kind of works as long as you paint it really dead, but I'm not sure that's on purpose. Again, this thickness here just sucks so much, and it goes all the way up halfway to the mini. So you're going to be seeing that all the time with this. Just this gigantic, it's literally like this thick of plastic on this little guy. Like there's no way. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. I like the club here, and I think they did a pretty good job allowing the club to exist physically in that space. Rope is pretty good. On the top, though, it does get a little flat. Satchel looks cool. Obviously, like I said, the hand looks cool as well from there. And again, I like looking over to the side like that too. Okay, we just got some big ones now, and the pets. Here, we got 3 of these. These are cool centaurs. I think they look awesome. So again, we have opposite legs up. That's good. We have the 2 axes. I think that ends up okay. Getting a little thick, but not too bad. Like look at this, the crispness of that armor from the horse. Like it looks great. They did a really good job on all the armor. The hair also, again, looks great. Really do dig that. Muscle definition. Here's another kind of okay, more axes here. So it looks like he's going to be throwing the axes. Yeah, so he has another axe here, and then at least 2 more there. And the separation there looks good, really good. Maybe not the top. This front part, though, yes, definitely. Yeah, it looks great. I love the mask, and again, this hair suit. I really like the mask, and then this hair looks super cool. Yeah, definitely neat. I like it. All right. So I can tell you right now, I hate this box. Like, I hate it a lot. I hate tuck boxes. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to ruin it, and I'm going to be bothered, but, you know, whatever. So I hate it because you have to literally push in, like, fold it out, and it's just not a pleasant experience. So right now, I think it's gripping the tray. So I'm going to have to lift up on here and try. I might have to pull it. Oh, see, I hate these tuck boxes so much. They're terrible. These tuck boxes are like the worst thing. Like I've already ripped it. Look at that. Already ripped. You cannot open these boxes without destroying them. It's the stupidest design ever. And I hate when companies do this. Look at this. Look at this crap. How is that a good experience? Oh, yeah, I'm so glad I spent money on this and then broke it just to open it. Dear Lord. Do not like. I hate these. Do not give me these. I'd rather you just throw it in the box loose. Stupid things. Oh, that's a freaking sweet picture there. All right, so it looks like we have a... Oh, and now this is an index. For last one was a deal with contents. Which one is it? I don't know. Got the Boogeyman. You got Jack. Oh, this is a Bambola. I thought they were the dolls or robots or something like that. Is it a different language or something? I don't know. I thought they were called something different, or maybe they are in this only or something. I'm not sure. Okay. So then, inside here, I'm glad this is inside instead of outside. We do have a few... oh, this is for like Black Rose Wars. If you were to put it in there, I think this is what this is for. So we'll take a quick look at this. A quick look. Whoop, there we go. So you can see the 3 new mages you got. Again, Boogeyman's freaking sweet, so I dig that. That's awesome. Do get a silica packet, and here we get some cards, again, for their stuff. No need to really look at that, but that's for that. Then we got some of the smaller cards here for when you need those. We get a token, but more importantly is we get cool minis. So let's go ahead and take a look at those minis. See what that's about. Let's say I'm going to have to open that up to fit that back in. Otherwise, it's just slightly too big, which is okay. We can solve that. It's easy open. I do appreciate the easy open. It's much easier to open than the box itself is. There's that. There. Now that fits nicely. Silica packet. We'll keep them in there. All right. Let's take a look at some of these dolls. They are smaller than I thought they would be. Maybe. All right. So again, they have these rims. Again, I don't understand the rim, but it's whatever. Okay, so they are smaller than I thought they would be. Their face looks freaking frightening. I do not like that. The like gun arm is freaking sweet. I dig that they're like Samus over here. The joints look good. The blade looks fine. I think it's okay. It's maybe slightly cut into the ground where I wouldn't like that. That being said, this texture on this cloth is like scary, and the detail level is really good. I like that a lot. Those guys are freaking creepy. No, thank you. All right. So here's one of the characters here. Okay, so I love the fact that, look, they did something different with the base. This time there's a skeleton coming out because he's raising him from the dead. I love it. Look how dynamic this guy is, too. Super cool. Again, way too thick of a cape. Dear Lord, that thing would weigh like 50 pounds. And in fact, look, this is thicker than this one. What the heck's going on there? Otherwise, the connection here may be a little too much as well. So a little bit thicker, but otherwise it looks cool. It's definitely a cool and dynamic pose, and I love that. I love how this is flying out. I love how his arm is still separated quite well from that, and his hand even is. I would have liked it maybe not attached to his hand, but you know, it's whatever. These little tassels are really good. Even the wrinkles on his shirt here are good. Again, good facial detail there. His hair is completely smooth. There is not like a texture to be seen there from what I can tell. It almost looks like he's wearing a helmet. It's kind of a odd thing. And the weapon, I think, came out good, too. It is also ABS. I can tell it's a little bit shinier. And again, it has a little runner mark there. And notice how skinny and straight it is. It's nice when you spend money and make a nice mini. It looks assembled pretty well when it comes to on the base. So I'm happy with that. Cool character. Okay, next we have Jack here. He's like a jack-o'-lantern guy. He looks like a lot of fun. I love his face mask thing. His eye sockets in particular are cool. The stitching mouth is nice too. And look how much thinner this brim of the hat is compared to that other one we saw. Again, these kind of inconsistencies with the minis are really throwing me off. And it's almost like they're from different games. And then we get a really nice skinny edge there. And then we get a scythe that's like, again, as fat as his arm. It's literally as thick as his arm. It's totally unrealistic. It looks silly. This is pretty cool that they did this. I guess kind of. So there's almost actually a little bit of hole there, but then they filled this part in here. So you know it is what it is. A lot of times they'll fill it in. I also don't like his legs. He looks like he's trying to do the pee dance maybe or something like that. I don't like that they're connected like that, and he's on his tippy toes. Or it's like a girl trying to like be cute or something like that. Which, I mean, maybe that's it. He takes a picture and he's like, I don't know, feeling cute, maybe post later kind of thing. But all the like cloths and stuff like that and wrappings and all that looks cool. The noose around his neck is cool. And the cloak looks nice as well. All right, next up we got like Skeletor over here. And unfortunately, he did not get the ABS treatment. Instead, he gets this like really bendy staff treatment. Look, you guys see? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Make that ABS. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing with that? Like if your PVC plastic that you're using is like this, like maybe don't have it make a big staff like that. Okay, so this robe that he has is freaking sweet. A lot of tiny detail there. The hands holding stuff, they're doing really well too. This mask looks great, but his hand holding it is so nicely separated. That is awesome. Really like that. Unfortunate that, again, his foot melds into the cloth. I don't know why they do that so much, but they do. And that the inside of the cloth is completely buttery, silky smooth, whereas the outside has all this cool detail and stuff like that. Obviously, his rib cage showing is freaking sweet. His like eyeballs and his skull look amazing. But then he's got this gigantic like staff rod thing here that is just bendy and a bummer. Okay, we do get a character here, and again, a custom base. I really appreciate that a lot. I think that's awesome. Again, we're doing the two finger thing. We're all about the two fingers here, I guess. And he's got some like black on, what is that on his finger? That was kind of weird. Again, this is like bent in a weird way where I don't know if this could even go straight. It's like they bent it to fit. I bet it was separate in the render, and then again the manufacturer gets it and bloop glomps it together like that. This is what they do. They have a little post here that randomly connects to it even more, and it just bends it there. They don't care. They're doing like 8 of these a day. You know what do they care? It's not their game. And then I guess that could be, but it's still just too bent. Like this is now always bent. Like there's no way to not bend that. It's attached to him like that. Assembly, again, looks great. All the detail work looks great. Looks really good. If they could get a little bit more attention to what their manufacturer's doing to their renders, I think they would be exemplified in this industry for minis. This thing, freaking sweet. Love the Chimera. Love the basing. Again, that's pretty cool. This is a little almost abstract, a little blurry almost, like it's been blown up. And the rock is very smooth stone, which it's fine, but it makes it hard to you can't dry brush that. And so you kind of almost have to like glaze on a highlight on the edge. It's a very faint edge. You can see it reflected in the light here. Obviously, when you paint it, that doesn't work out quite as well. So dry brushing is often kind of nice. You can kind of get it on like this crispness, but when it's smooth like that, not so much. Oh, the fur looks great. That looks cool. I dig that. I like the little tufts of fur that he's got going on. Love the horns here. The mouth coming out of the mouth looks cool. Once again, they did not sculpt the inside again. And again, I'm reminded of like 2012 as opposed to, and I'm being, funny there. More like 2015 or so. But like literally like that is when I would see stuff like this. In today's market, most of their competitors are putting some kind of texture in the mouth, especially when it's wide open like that and it's a nice big boss miniature. You want it to look kind of cool. So having it just like fake putty sculpt clay, looking kind of mouth, kind of a bummer there. The snake mouth looks cool. Can't really see into it too much, and the fangs are way too big. But other than that, I think it's cool. Too big. I don't mean like they come out too much. I think like they're just too fat. I mean, those look like, maybe you can focus on it a little bit more. There you go. Those look like gigantic, like T-Rex teeth, not fangs. The texture on it's freaking stellar, though. Great scales on that. I do like that. And finally, we have a little owl guy. And he's not coming out at all. Okay. Oh, geez. That's so tight, it didn't come out. There we go. All right, so here is the owl. Again, I like his look. He looks kind of confused. Because this is more closed and that's more open. He's like, huh? Kind of giving you the little like capital O dot little o face if it was text. I like the little stump he's on. That's kind of cool. His feathers are really nice, actually. I like those a lot. And his eyebrows, super duper cool. I like that he has a little bit of an attitude. That's kind of fun. Well, guys, that is it. That is literally everything I got. I know it's not everything, but I bought this. I got this. This is what I got. Let me know if you think I missed out on anything super important or anything like that. I look forward to Wave 2, where more of the stuff that I bought, I'm sure, will come. And I'm excited to get this to the table, especially with the terrain and stuff. And remember, on Patreon and on YouTube membership, I will give you my first impressions of this when I do play it. So you'll see that way before you see any review, because this is something I'm going to have to spend some time on definitely to get my final decision out on the game. But those first impressions, I'll give those to those people that help support this channel and support this super expensive hobby. So thank you so much to them, of course. All that's linked down in the description below. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.